Konnichiwa, my dudes. Today, we're unhauling. If you haven't heard of the KonMari method, essentially it is a cleaning style coined, trademarked by Marie Kondo, a Japanese delight. Essentially wants you to get rid of shit that you don't like anymore, don't use anymore. So a lot of people have been doing these unhaul videos. I didn't see anyone do like the KonMari method until Thoughts on Tomes did, Sam. Truthfully, a long while ago, I went through all my bookshelves after reading The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, which I've since lent to my sister and never gotten back. Laura, thank you. So I went through all my books, especially my TBR books, and I was like, I picked it up. I did the thing where you pick it up and you're like, does this bring me joy? And if it doesn't, you get rid of it. And so I have this giant ass pile of books that I'm like medium about, and truthfully you could probably convince me to keep a lot of them. I just kind of went through and I was like, am I gonna read this anytime soon? Maybe not. Better get rid of it. Or I was like, hey, I read this and I don't know if I'm gonna read it again. Better get rid of it. So I have the whole bottom shelves of these bad boys filled with those books, as well as a bunch of wine boxes downstairs in my basement. So I have to do the thing where I'm like, just because I'm getting rid of books doesn't mean it's bad books. Obviously not. If you love the book I'm getting rid of, sell it to me. And I don't mean physically, I mean pitch me this book. Tell me why I should keep it. Because like I said, I like all the books that I buy, I like. It's just I went a little crazy when I started, so I bought a lot. So just tell me why I should keep the books, and I might, if there's a book in this giant pile of books that you're like, but Sarah, you must keep, then tell me why, and I might consider keeping it, because I don't like getting rid of books. I mean, I've gotten rid of books my entire life. Like, I don't have issues getting rid of books, but, I mean, you never want to throw away a treasure trove of joy. And that essentially is what I'm doing here, but it's for the greater good. So, without further ado, here's the books I think I'm gonna get rid of, maybe, probably. I mean, I'm gonna get rid of them because I need to trade them in to the local bookstore so that I can get credit to get other books. I'm a thinker, you see. Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I liked the movie, but I haven't picked up the book. Watership Down by Richard Adams, because this copy is really ugly and I got an e-book of it. Horns by Joe Hill. I don't know. I haven't picked it up yet. Under the Dragon's Tail and Accept the Dying by Maureen Jennings, and these are the first two books in the Murdoch mystery series. I loved the show, but I don't actually like mystery books, so I don't mind them, but I don't love them either. So, The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. Legend by Marie Lu. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. Sweet Blood by Pete Houtman. This is the only type 1 diabetes book I've ever come across that's a fiction book. I read, I don't know, a big chunk of it, and it was literally trash. So I'm not gonna keep it just because it's got diabetes in it, you know? Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I know a lot of people like this one, but I don't know. The Poison Princess by Cressley Cole. Geektastic by a bunch of people, edited by Holly Black and Cecil Castellucci, I don't know. I liked this from what I read, but then I looked up reviews and there was a controversial story, so I like read that story, and essentially there's like the quirky girl who sticks it to the cheerleader by spreading her nudes, and she isn't punished for it. Wow, what a feminist. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel. I read this when it was good, but will I read it again? Probably not. Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I just hate this edition, and I have it on ebook, and I want to upgrade the book. Graceling by Kristen Kishore. I don't know, I also feel that I'm not really in a high fantasy mood lately. Roseblood by A.G. Howard. I've heard very terrible things about this, and I was so hyped for it. Apparently it's trash. So, I don't know what to think. The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. I got this in a book box, and I don't know. It's like adult literature. Maybe it's good. In the Shadow of Blackbirds. I like Cat Winters, but I just haven't picked this up for like 4 years, so I was like, will I really pick it up? Really? I mean, maybe, I don't know. Charmed by Michelle Kriz. I was gonna get rid of the whole series, but I used them for props for Halloween decorations. So I was like, I'll just get rid of the second one, because like, I read the first one and I literally could not tell you what it's about except witches. And it being, the main character is like a Mary Sue cheerleader, so popular girl who's also magic. The Winner's Crime by Marie Rutkowski. I have the whole Winners series in here. I don't know. An Astronaut's Guide to Life by Chris Hadfield. I have had this for like 3-4 years now. I haven't read it yet. I flipped through it and I lack space, but yeah, I bought this when it was brand new and it came out in 2014. So, by Gaslight, by Stephen Price. This is an autographed copy. I got it as a gift from my aunt. And like, a part of me wants to love it because it's a local author. But look at how many pages it is. And I don't love mystery. Like, I like some mystery, but I don't know. The Rise and Fall of Alexandria, Birthplace of the Modern Mind by Justin Pollard and Howard Reed. So I bought this on a whim when I was on a very big Library of Alexandria kick. And this apparently was a really good book to read. I didn't pick it up though, and now I don't know if I'm ever gonna read it. The Infinite Sea and The Last Star by Rick Yancey. I read The Fifth Wave and I liked it, but I just haven't picked these ones up, so I don't know. I've heard really bad stuff about the second one. And then, should I keep it because I love sci-fi? I'm conflicted on this one. Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. I bought this on a whim because I never read the Chronicles of Narnia as a child. 54 pages in. I think that this edition is super ugly and that I need to just get a better version of all the books, and I got ebooks of them. So then I have The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories by Washington Irving. I bought this off Book Outlet and I didn't expect it to be this big, and I actually just changed and upgraded my copy of Legend of Sleepy Hollow, so I don't need this one anymore because I don't need two. And we have Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I've read this one and I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to continue with the series though. I have the other two over there somewhere. This copy in particular, it's super freaking ugly. It's got Alamance County Public Library from Burlington, North Carolina. This was supposed to be in very, very good condition when I bought it, so that was disappointing. But I don't know if I want to continue with the series, so I know a lot of people love it. Tell me why you love it, please. Okay, then we have Blithwood and Ravencliff by Carol Goodman, and I really wanted to read this series, but I've heard it gets so terrible. So terrible as you go on, so I'm afraid to get committed to a series that has an absolute dog shit end. So let me know. Have you read the series all the way through? It's like about a magical boarding school, and fuck, that's my favorite trope ever. So I want to love it, but I'm also afraid of commitment when I know that there's a flaming trash pile at the end. So yeah. Now yeah, here's The Winner's Kiss and The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. I don't know if I'm just feeling the series. I've heard that it's good, but I haven't heard why it's good. Yeah, I don't know. Then here we have Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, and honestly, I don't even know if I've read this or not. I was really into the Lunar Chronicles for a while there, and, you know, I don't know if I am so much anymore. I don't know if it's worth keeping or not. I don't know. Okay, here we have Black Widow Forever Read by Margaret Stoll. I bought it thinking it was a book about the Black Widow, but it's really not. It's about some other chick, and like Black Widow is a side character. Have you read this? Is it good? Okay, and so then here we have The Archived and The Unbound by Victoria Schwab. And I read The Archived and I loved it. I thought it was so good, so original, and so then I bought The Unbound right after. I never read it, but apparently it's supposed to be a trilogy, but there's like no word on when the third book is coming. And like I said, I am a commitment phobe, so I don't want to like get into this and be like loving it, and then it's like, surprise, actually we've been waiting for the third book for like 9 years and we don't know if it's ever gonna come out, so you're left freaking high and dry. To read The Unbound, I would have to go back and read The Archived, and I don't know if that is worth it if the ending is not worth it. Okay, next here we have The Boy at the Top of the Mountain by John Boyne, and this is the guy who wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which I have never read. I saw the movie. That's pretty sad. I got this from a publisher. I've had it for a while and I haven't picked it up yet, so I don't know if it's like something I'm gonna pick up anytime soon. So, Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and everyone and their mother was like going crazy over this book when I started at BookTube, so I felt like that I needed to have it. So I bought a copy of it, but I hate contemporary. I don't like it very much. And I don't even know what this is about, except I know that it's a contemporary, and I just like, and I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. So the next one, it might be controversial, but I have here the first 3 books in the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. I missed the hype when it was like a thing that vampires were cool. I don't know, like, I keep thinking that I want to keep these and read them. I have like read the first couple of pages, and it seemed like a little cringy, so I don't know if it's just like awkward beginning-itis or if I'm just, it's just not for me. So please tell me, I'm not sure. This I'm conflicted about because I want to love it because I love vampire books, but my god. Okay, if anything looks different, it's because I just took a very extended break from filming, so angles, lights, all that shit might be different. So like I was saying before, I'm not sure if I want to continue with the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. I have these 2, which is the whole trilogy. I mean, I did like the first one, but at the same time, I don't remember like a single thing that happened except weird magical things and flying over Prague. But so yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I could potentially be swayed into keeping these books and continuing on with the series, but I don't know if it's just overrated. Next here we have Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by Joan Burnett. Fuck. I don't even know why I bought this. I think I saw it on Goodreads, and so I bought it used. It's about like a murder mystery. Then here we have The Bone Season and The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. So I bought these years ago, and I haven't actually ever picked them up ever. I've heard mixed things, like I said like 5 million times. I'm not super into high fantasy right now. And this is all about like a weird alternative London or something with magic. Then we have The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I think I like Holly Black, but then every time I read something by her, I'm always underwhelmed. I think it's just a little too weird. Like when I was in high school, I loved her because it was just like so bizarre and out there. But so this is like a vampire story, and I do like reading about vampires. I'm just not sure about this book. So next here we have Dracula, My Love by Cyree James, and I've had this book for years. I love Dracula, and so I keep thinking I'm gonna love this book, but I just haven't ever picked it up. And it's supposed to be like a diary and book from the perspective of Mina Harker, based after the events of Dracula. I just never pick it up, so I just think it's time for it to go, potentially. Then here we have arguably the most terrible cover in my entire book collection, and that's White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I bought this at Superstore one time because it was on sale for like 40% off, and I do like Jennifer L. Armentrout. It's like she's a gargoyle or something. Yeah, it's weird. It's like a paranormal romance with like gargoyles or something. I don't know, I'm just not super into it, but then again I haven't heard like anything about it. Next here we have The Uninvited by Kat Winters. This is another Kat Winters book. I read this one, and honestly the ending was terrible. I didn't like it, and I don't think I'm ever gonna read it again, because it's like whenever you have a book that like just like veers off into a weird direction, it's like once you know that that's gonna happen, if you go back to reread it, it's just kind of like meh. Alright, and then here we have the entire Born at Midnight series by C.C. Hunter, or the Shadow Falls novels, sorry. These, I read them a few summers ago, and I loved them when I read them. It's about like a girl who gets sent to this camp, and the camp is for mystical, magical creatures, but she doesn't know what she is, and I shit you not, I could not even tell you what she was. It was just a blur. Like, I don't even remember anything about these books. I don't remember a single thing about these, except that there was a shitty, love triangle. Okay, so now we're getting into the freaking giant boxes. There's 5 boxes, and I couldn't even tell you what's in here, so it's gonna be an adventure for both of us. But these have been boxed up for months, so yeah, I have no idea what's in here. This is, oof, dusty. First here, we have the Elder Edda and the Prose Edda. I'm only getting rid of these because there was an issue with when I bought them. The package got lost in the mail, and so they resent it to me, but then I got both the packages, so I have duplicates of these, so I don't need them. Next here we have Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. It's about like a zombie that has the normal human brain, and then he falls in love again. Here we have Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I read the first part of this and I seemed to like it, but then I put it down and never picked it back up again. Then here we have Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by April Genevieve Teholke. I read this duology when I first started YouTube, and I loved it, but at the same time it was weird and I will never reread it again, so I'm going to be getting rid of this and the other book. Next here we have The Girl Who Never Was by Skylar Dorset. Next we have Arcane, book 1 of the Arinthian line by Sever Brawny. My mom bought this for me ages ago because he's a local author and he signed it in 2014 for me and I haven't ever picked it up ever. Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick. I've heard this one is good and I've lent it to people actually, and they thought it was good because it's about a kid who wants to kill himself and go in a school shooting or something, and then I'm not sure if that actually happens or not. Then here we have Half Bad and Half Wild by Sally Green. I love the idea of witch books, but I've heard mixed things about this series. I don't know, they aren't singing to me the same way they did when I first purchased them. Okay, so the next couple of books are series that may or may not be controversial. So here we have the Darkest Minds series by Alexandra Bracken. I read the Darkest Minds, or no, I read most of the Darkest Minds, I think. I might have finished it, but I don't even remember. I hate dystopian books. I used to not mind them, but I never loved them. So when dystopian was a cool thing, I went and purchased a bunch of them, and that was a mistake. So, I mean, I'm on the fence about this one because I feel that Alexandra Bracken is a good writer, but I've had these since like 2015, 2014, and I just have only read the first one, and so I'm very conflicted. Next here is another dystopian series, the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I read Divergent and I thought it was fine. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I have since been spoiled on the ending of this book series, and it's some hot garbage. I don't know if I'm really willing to commit to a series in a genre that I don't like with an ending that is garbage, so I might just have to pass these on to an unsuspecting middle schooler. Oh yeah, I forgot this one, but this is 4 by Veronica Roth again. I got a box set of all the Divergent books. Mistake, never buy a series before you've read the first book. But this is about 4, some dude who does stuff. I don't know. Here we have The Back Door of Midnight by Elizabeth Chandler, and this is in the Dark Secrets series. I used to have quite a few of these. I'm pretty sure they're really old and then they got republished, but they're all kind of like small town mysteries, and I just never picked it up, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I got spoiled by the end. A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis. Then here we have The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I have the whole series in these boxes. I read the first book and it was pretty alright. Unreliable narrator. Apparently it's shit. I don't know. Okay, box 2. So this is Dark Secrets 1 by Elizabeth Chandler, and it includes Legacy of Lies and Don't Tell. Then here we have The Iron Fae Volume 1 by Julie Kagawa. So then we have The Iron Fae Volume 1 by Julie Kagawa, and that includes The Iron King and The Iron Daughter. And I've read The Iron King and I loved it. I bought this book and honestly, I just hate the cover. Like, I find this just so atrocious. If I want to continue on with the series, I'm going to get like a box set or just like the individual books, just because then it won't be this. Winterspell by Claire Legrand. I've just heard kind of meh things about it. Okay, here we have The Evolution of Mara Dyer. This is the second book in the Mara Dyer trilogy. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to continue on, and the third one is somewhere else in here. Slade House by David Mitchell. This was sent to me by accident. I ordered from Book Outlet, and then this was put into my order instead of a book that I actually bought, and so they just resent me the book that they messed up on. And I mean, this one sounds good, and it has good reviews, but I just don't think I'm gonna read it anytime soon. Between Two Skies by Joanne O'Sullivan. Then here we have Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Fun fact, I gave up on reading this and I watched it last night because I didn't watch the movie because I was like, I can't watch the movie until I read the book. Now that I know what happens, I just don't even need to read the book. Then here we have The Circle, the Engelsfors trilogy by Sarah B. Elfgren and Mats Strandberg. I liked this book when I read it, but I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series. I love the cover of this. I think it's just so aesthetically pleasing. I don't know, I was just kind of underwhelmed by the story. Then here we have the Bellwether revivals. I got this in a book box and I read the first little bit and I just couldn't get into it. Here we have Reborn by C.C. Hunter, and this is a spin-off series to the Shadow Falls books, and because I don't really remember the Shadow Falls books, this is about the vampire girl. I don't think I'm gonna read it. Next here we have Unhooked by Lisa Maxwell. This is a Peter Pan retelling, and I've just heard it's very underwhelming, so toodles. Then we have Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulhurst. This is a lesbian love story. The princess getting the girl. Like I said, I'm just not really into high fantasy lately, and the reviews for this book are like not super great. So I don't know if this is something I want to read or not. I got this in like an owl crate ages ago. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. This book just sounds like it's trash. I don't know why I bought it. It's about an abusive relationship. Honestly, I might read this just to like rage read it and then like review it. But I mean, I don't know. Okay, so here's Between the Spark and the Burn. This is The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea, the second book in that duology. The Retribution of Mara Dias, the third book. Finally found them. I don't know why I didn't box them up all together, but there you go. Here's Gone Without a Trace by Mary Torjusen. This is just like an adult thriller that was sent to me from Penguin Random House. I just don't seem super into it. Okay, lastly for this box is another book sent by Penguin Random House. So Much Love by Rebecca Rosenblum. Actually, this sounds kind of good. I don't know. I might actually keep this one. It's about a student who disappears and like how everyone thinks about her after she disappears, and then we also see her. I actually might keep that one. I don't know. I'm so conflicted by all these books. Okay, now for box 3. Holy shit, this is turning into more of an ordeal than I initially thought. A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is a Sherlock Holmes retelling. You know, honestly, this is a little endearing. A modern retelling of the descendants of Sherlock and Watson, and there's a murder mystery afoot. Okay, so here we have some of the books in the Fallen series. I found these in a thrift store. All 4 of them. I don't know where the first one is right now. And it's like an angel paranormal romance with like the cringiest covers. I read the first one well, I listened to it as an audiobook. Even though it was super cringy, it was like kind of a guilty pleasure. But I honestly don't think I'm ever gonna go back and read it because objectively it was trash. So here we have Stars of Fortune, book 1 in the Guardians trilogy by Nora Roberts. I don't think I've ever actually read a Nora Roberts book. I just like the idea of Nora Roberts books. Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. This is Tiger Lily from Peter Pan retelling. I've heard it's good, but I just haven't felt the urge to pick it up. And I've had it for like 3 years, so I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to it. So here we have The Gathering by Kelly Armstrong, and I only bought this because it is set on Vancouver Island, which is where I live. I've never really come across a YA book that's set in Vancouver Island, but this is kind of like a werewolf paranormal book, but it has pretty bad reviews, but it's, I'm conflicted, but I also hate werewolf. I don't hate werewolves. I just don't love that theme, you know. Then we have Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. It's about a magical bookstore. And I mean, I want to love that idea, and I do love that idea, but will I love the book? I don't know. Ghost Stories and Mysterious Creatures of British Columbia by Barbara Smith. Oh, there's a haunted black nugget museum. Gotta check that out. Honestly, I might just put this in my downstairs, like, communal family bookshelf because it's like, we live in British Columbia, so that's like applicable to more than just me, but I digress. Oh, okay, well apparently I had 2 of these books in the Werewolf series by Kelly Armstrong. I didn't even remember that. Okay, next here we have Visions and Omens by Kelly Armstrong. This is like an adult series, paranormal series. It's about a girl who was secretly adopted and her parents were serial killers, and she moves back to the town where she was originally from, and hijinks ensues, and that's literally all I know about it. But I got these at a library book sale, and I just haven't gotten around to reading them yet, so I don't know if I am ever gonna get around to it, so I don't know. Okay, then here we have Sleeping in the Ground by Peter Robinson. This was sent to me by the publisher. It's just like an adult murder mystery, and I'm just not that into adult murder mysteries, so getting rid of it. Then we have The Legend of Sheba, Rise of a Queen by Tosca Lee. I like Tosca Lee, but I got this from Book Outlet, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna read it, but it's about the Queen Sheba. Then here we have Molokai by Alan Brennert. I read quite a bit of this, and then, well, it was just like in one sitting, and then I never picked it up again. This is about a girl who gets leprosy in Hawaii in like the late 1800s and gets sent to like a leprosy island, which I think is Molokai. And it was pretty good when I read it, but I just, I don't know if I'm ever gonna pick it up again. Like I might, but I don't know. So here I have The Spiral Dance by Starhawk. This is a book I got when I thought I was going to write a book about witches, because it's about paganism and Wiccan stuff. That never really happened, and so I've been holding on to this for years, and I really just don't don't need it. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I have a finished copy, so I don't need it. And The Woman in the Photo by Mary Hogan. And I read 100 pages of this and I just couldn't get into it. So that was unfortunate because going into it I thought it was gonna be great, but I was just kind of like meh. Frostblood by Ellie Blake. I got this in an owl crate, I'm pretty sure, but apparently it's like Red Queen, but like opposite with ice. Like I said, I hate dystopian books. Like I'm just over it. So I just don't see myself loving this unless it's truly exceptional, and I don't think it is. So here we have Unnatural Causes by Max Haynes. This is a murder book. I got this in a local bookstore, and it's just like a little old book filled with little old crimes that are true, but once you read it once, you don't ever really have to read it again. So passing it on to the next person. Okay, and lastly in here we have Audrey Hepburn in the Movies by Timothy Knight. I love Audrey Hepburn, but I have a lot of Audrey Hepburn books, and so I went through them and I figured that this one I haven't actually really ever gone through. It's just like a bunch of stills from Audrey Hepburn movies. Okay, 2 more boxes left. Holy shit. Okay, so first here we have The Twilight Saga, the official illustrated guide by Stephanie Meyer. Yep, this is just a book all about Twilight. Juliet by Anne Fortier. I've had it for years and I've heard it is amazing. It's kind of like the Da Vinci Code, but it's about a girl whose grandmother or great-grandmother leaves her some mystery in like a Da Vinci Code-esque way. I don't know, I just haven't picked it up yet, so Far, Far Away by Tom McNeil. I listened to about half of this as an audiobook and I liked it, but then the audiobook expired and then I didn't care about it again. So, yeah. Then we have Splintered and Unhinged by A.G. Howard. This is like an Alice in Wonderland series. I am conflicted about this because I've heard some people love it, but I've also heard some people hate it. I don't know where I fall on the spectrum, and I'm a commitment phobe when it comes to series. So yeah, and I've just had them for so long and I just haven't picked them up yet. But then we have Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but I just haven't picked it up yet, so I don't know. Maybe it's great, but I wouldn't know. We have Alive by Scott Sigler. This is like another sort of dystopian-ish story. It was really hyped on BookTube for a while and I thought I needed it, and then surprise, I didn't. Here we have the Darkest Powers trilogy by Kelly Armstrong. It's got The Summoning, The Awakening, and The Reckoning. I lent this to my mom years ago and she said it was good but also not the greatest. I was kind of like not into it after that, so. Then we have A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I just got a different copy of it. I don't need this mass market paperback. Then we have Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. I was sent this by the publisher, but then it started coming out and I'm pretty sure it's like in the 2s on Goodreads, and that's unless your book is absolute steaming garbage, you don't get 2s, so I don't think I'm gonna like this one. The Glass Arrow by Kirsten Simmons. This is like a dystopian one where there's like not a lot of girls, and then it's just kind of like people keep them because for breeding and stuff, and it's just weird. I was super interested in it when I bought it. I just haven't picked it up yet and I'm not quite sure if I want to or not, so. Then here we have the Trill trilogy by Amanda Hawking. It's Switch, Torn, and Ascend. This is just like about a changeling, and I have had it for a long time, and I've heard mediocre things about it. Then here we have The Book of Negroes by Lawrence Hill. I've had this for ages, and I just haven't picked it up yet, but it looks pretty good. But I'm not quite sure if I want to pick it up or not. Okay, last box. We can do it. But here's just the marks, I guess. So here we have Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco, and I love this book, so I really want to get a copy, like a finished copy of it. The Cabin by Natasha Preston, Wonder Woman by Sam Maggs, Mind Equal Blown by Matthew Santoro, The Wood by Chelsea Bobolski, The Girls by Emma Cline. Oh yeah, I've read and reviewed all these in my latest Speedfire book review video, so if you want to know more about these, it's over there. Here we have The Suffering Tree by Elle Cosimano, and I really didn't like that one. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gal Honeyman. I just couldn't get into this one. Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. It was just too weird for me. Words in Deep Blue, a novel by Kath Crowley. Too contemporary for me. Forever Dune by Carrie Corp and Lori Langdon. This is the 4th book in the Dune series, and I like have a nostalgic spot in my heart for the Dune series. So I am hoping to eventually get like a cheap copy of this. I don't want to pay like full price for it because I'm not sure if I'll ever actually reread it. But yeah. The Wish Granter by CJ Redwine. I loved this one. It was so good. Missing by Kelly Armstrong. Was pretty good. Towards the Secret Sky by Heather McLean. The cover is garbage, but the book is fun and cute, and I liked it. Dragonfly in Amber by Diana Gabaldon. I bought this accidentally as a library copy, so it's just a mass market paperback that's been library-ified, and I thought it was like a big one, so it doesn't match my other ones, so getting rid of it. These Vicious Masks by Taryn Shanker and Kelly Zekas. I just didn't really like it. I thought it was very predictable and also boring, but I liked it because there's like a Lord Kent in it, and my last name is Kent, so I like that, I guess. Here we have Fallen by Lauren Kate. This is the first book in the Fallen series. I showed the rest of the series earlier. Then here we have The Circle by Dave Eggers. I've heard it's just mediocre, so I don't know if I want to actually read it. Then here we have Twilight, the special 10th anniversary edition by Stephanie Meyer with Life and Death. So when I heard that a new Twilight book was coming out, the inner high schooler in me jumped out and I bought it. And I started to read it and I just couldn't. It was just so terrible. So I was led astray down the garden path. Okay, the last two books. Finally. Sabriel by Garth Nix. It looks like it would be a good book, but I've had this one for like 6 years and I just have not read it yet. So I don't know if it's gonna happen. And The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I just got a new copy of it, so I didn't need this one. That is the last box. Oh, it's so dusty. Alright, well, holy crap, that was so many books. If you watched that entire thing, I commend you, because I could barely get through it and I'm the one freaking physically doing it. But yeah, I don't know if I said earlier, but whatever books I'm getting rid of, I sell back to my local bookstore, because then you get credit and then I can use it towards books that I want. And then all the ARCs, there's a local leave a book, take a book, so I always put my ARCs there. Because of course you can't resell ARCs or anything like that, so I can't send them out to you, I'm sorry. The Canadian postal system is very expensive. But like I said before, if any of the books I showed you are extremely passionate about, please let me know, because I could be swayed on many of these books, like especially after going through them all for this video. I'm kind of like on the fence for some of them. There's gonna be definitely some shuffling around, and like some of these I will be keeping, but the vast majority will be going. But like if you think something in my pile I would love, then please tell me, because I don't want to accidentally get rid of something that could be amazing, because that would be terrible. Leave your thoughts on any of the books that I talked about down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.